When I was 10, I was at this restaurant with my mom, my dad, and my little brother. It's one of those Korean places where the waiter grills the beef in front of you, kind of like those Japanese restaurants that do cool knife tricks and onion volcanoes with smoke coming out of it, except not as cool. We would sit at the restaurant table, and the waiter would start placing the raw beef on the grill to sizzle, but my mom likes to take over and grill it herself. The waiter noticed how me and my brother were eating all the portions of meat as my mother was cooking them and jokingly pointed it out to her. She whispered something back to him, laughing as well. I presume that my mom was saying something about how I'd probably eat our whole family if she didn't feed me properly, but it turned out that wasn't the case. Mom told me about this feeling that parents have, where they're always looking out for their child, and often the sound of their children eating is enough to make the parents feel full and satisfied. These sacrificial statements about how my mom and dad function make me feel so grateful because I couldn't have asked for a better family. I was born in South Korea, and my parents moved me to California when I was 1 year old to give me a better life. I grew up very happy, but every day, especially as I got older, I began to realize my lack of independency. Ever since I was in the 3rd grade, I wanted to become a filmmaker, but whenever I had the chance to ask my parents for new camera equipment, a new video editing software, or even a film summer program, I would usually tell myself not to ask. My mom especially always offered to help me in any way, and while we weren't mega rich, my mom was still willing to pay and raise the production budget on many of my films. I found out that I have and still live with a constant feeling of guilt for being able to have such loving parents willing to give me the tools for success. Yet I'm always scared of how I'm going to use them. Sure, my mom could drop $400 on a new boom microphone, but unless I have a potential film that I'm going to be proud of making, I felt like it was a gamble to buy something and then fail to utilize it. I was afraid to accept the help from my parents because I was worried I wouldn't be able to repay them for all the sacrifices they made for me. I hope that one day, my mom and dad are placed on the highest pedestals of heaven for their strength and love, whether or not I manage to pay off my debt to them. Every parent would die for their child, but it's even harder to devote and sacrifice the many decades of life you have left to raise that child to the best that they can be, and I'm so lucky to have 2 of those people in my life. There are many successful people who grew up from very humble beginnings, overcoming hardship and becoming the admiration of today's society. Whenever I hear one of these stories, it always pricks my heart a little because I know I can never be that strong or smart to make it through those hard times and reveal true talent. The scariest part to me about my life is that I'm very confident I can achieve my dreams if I'm willing to work hard. But I found out through my life that working hard is easier said than done. I may not be destined for greatness, but the way my parents have raised me has taught me to never stop reaching for it. To further illustrate my tight bonds with family, I have to mention that my little brother is the one who's been doing all these drawings for this video. It was really sweet of him to help me. We have this love-hate relationship, but I still love him deep down. Luckily, I'll never admit that to anyone. If you can take away one thing from this video, never take your family members for granted.